So while we're trying to get Spencer, these are our top 7 Disney moments over the last. And I think so. This just says Disney moments, but didn't we specify park moments?
Yeah, Disney parks moments.
We did. Okay, so Disney park.
But then I asked Nathan.
Oh boy.
And he said things like a corporate move.
Well, a Disney parks corporate move.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If something happened at Disney parks, corporate or like in the, you know, anything related to the parks. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna work on Spencer, I assume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in the studio. I'm going to start down at the far end here. And Colleen, I'm going to let you go first. What is your top 7? By the way, just a recap, by the way, of how we do this in case this is your first top 7. We each give 1.
Yes.
And there's 7 of us. And that gives us a top 7 list. And then we have to order the list. That's the hard part, where we have to rank the list from 1 to 7. That's where we start getting into fist fights. So, Colleen, you're up first. What is your moment?
My moment is in 2011, Disney bought Lucasfilm, which meant they own Indiana Jones, they own Star Wars, so which those things were already in Hollywood Studios, but that led to being able to build Galaxy's Edge, and which we don't like, but Rise of the Resistance, which people do like.
Which we do
I've heard. I've never ridden the ride.
It's right here.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole ride is just on your desk.
The whole ride, it's just on Tom's desk.
Yeah, there it is.
The orange bird drives you around.
Get it, Orange Bird. Way to go,
Crashes
Orange
into the tower. Oh.
So yeah, I thought
Sorry, Tom,
buying
not playing with
Lucasfilm, I'm going to have a bunch of messages from him. They're touching my stuff. Buying Lucasfilm was a huge move for Disney, and it affected not only the parks, but every part of the company, and it led to, 3 more or 5 more movies of varying degrees of good, and TV shows, and the parks, and Disney owns both of the most successful franchises of all time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it opened up a ton of possibilities for them as far as theme park attractions, obviously, movies and stuff. Hi.
Now he's really just playing with us.
Now I am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you gave me the idea. Now I just want to play.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Baby Jetpack will play nice with the ice skater.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely huge because it also gave them the control over everything as well. Obviously, they get those IPs in there right beforehand.
Yeah, you don't have to pay
Yeah.
anything to have Star Wars and Indiana Jones in the parks. There's no contracts. You just own them, and you can do whatever you want, whether it's good or not.
Kind of like I'm doing without Tom here.
Yeah, doing whatever you want. Messing with IP.
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think it counts for sure.
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's any way you can ignore the impact that it. I don't even think it's really started. Like it's. I know there's lands, but it's like they're building a hotel still. There's way more film and television that's going to come from this, and they've learned some lessons. I think we're going to see a little less of it, like a little more spread out, and so we'll have it as part of our lives even longer, as a part of their business plan. So I think it makes a lot of sense. It's going to affect what's happening in parks for the not only the near future, but very much in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. We rode Star Tours yesterday with the updated scenes. It's cool they keep updating that. And we got off, and I was like, Dad, there aren't going to be any more Star Wars movies, and I never have to ride this ride ever again.
Oh, come on.
I got really motion sick.
Oh,
I had to see it, but I feel like I'm going to die after.
Wow.
Do you always feel that way on that ride, or is it just every time?
Hoth is the worst, though. Like, if it's the Hoth scene, that's shakier. And that one makes me feel the worst. But yeah, I got to a point that I was like, I can't ride Star Tours anymore. I love Harry Potter, and I can't ride the castle ride because I just pass out.
Hi,
Spencer. I hear a Spencer.
Hello.
Hi, Spencer.
Hello. I got it working. My stupid Mac is being stupid, so I went on my phone. But
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Now we're working.
Well, thanks
Here's
for
the
joining
flag,
us,
so.
Spencer.
Lightning, McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
So,
Love it. All right, well, Eric, what is your moment?
So I picked Paint the Night Parade.
okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's something that they were able to improve on for entertainment value as much as, it might not be there anymore. But at the time, it was an improvement of the Electrical Parade and our Spectro Magic.
Boo.
And the first, I believe it was the first LED lighted show for them, for Disney. So I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the LED, for whether it was the first LED, it was the first that used LED in that way.
It was the first nighttime parade that had fully LED.
Yeah, fully LED.
There we go.
The
Yeah.
Main Street Electrical Parade had the 2 Honor America float at the end was upgraded with some LEDs,
Okay.
Yeah.
but Paint the Night was fully LED.
I'd like to dispute that.
Well, okay, Tokyo, what you got?
Dreamlights is LEDs. It's been LEDs for a while.
I guess we mean American. It was the
Yeah,
first
sorry.
American. Things that matter. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
It's the first parade that was LED from the beginning.
That's true.
Okay.
Dreamlights was not LED from the beginning.
Yeah, that was like
It was
2011,
upgraded.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. So there you go.
Sorry. Keep going.
And also the incorporation of the paintbrush and the bows, and I think they were Mickey gloves as well.
Yeah.
That interacted with the actors in the parade. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
It definitely
the show.
elevated the concept of a nighttime parade.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was
They
one of
did,
the.
and then they got rid of it and won't show it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they did that.
Did they still have
Good
the
move.
what is it, Made with Magic? Is that the
Oh, yeah.
official? Like, is that still a
Made with
thing?
magic. Used to be Glow with the Show, now it's Made with Magic. It's
Right,
still a
Glow
thing.
with
I
the
think
Show,
it's
that's
why
right.
the ears like it Phantasmic.
Right, Phantasmic and didn't the
And
Magic
certainly
Kingdom,
World of Color.
World of Color. All right,
I
didn't
want to
the
say it did work on Magic Kingdom.
I don't.
I think so.
have something that was it? That wasn't
I
Wishes.
think
It was the
works. I think it works with Happily.
Happily.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does it still though? Like, can you go and use it with
Probably.
Yeah, I think
Phantasmic?
it still works. Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely still works at World of Color. I'm pretty sure it works at Phantasmic.
I don't feel they promote it anymore.
Oh, they don't.
Okay, because I really like the
Because
paintbrush
because
thing
the best
with
thing was Paint the Night.
Paint the Night. I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome.
That was the best thing, and
Yeah.
they don't have Paint the Night, so they haven't stopped sort of
Yeah.
promoting it.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric. Let's finish off here and see Nathan.
Yeah, so I said I had to think through a couple things, and I went corporate in my mind a little bit for a bit, and then I thought, corporate, all right? So what I went with is Rise of Resistance, because Rise of the Resistance it really comes in at the hair end, right? We're talking like December 2019, like it's the end of the decade
You
for
got by
sure.
Days.
Yeah, days.
By days, yep.
And I think that
Almost
like
didn't make it.
almost didn't make it. Could have not made it, but it made it. And I think it's easy to sort of be like, well, naturally, like this new ride is you can't have perspective on something that happened a couple months ago. Like, how do you know it's like one of the best things that happened the last decade? And I understand that, but I think after writing it, you can definitely be like, oh, I've never ridden anything like this before, like ever. And like maybe the closest is Mystic Manor. In the sense of like trackless use and things like that, but no one's, spoilers I guess a little bit, but I'm talking more technical, no one's putting you in a drop tower scenario as well as doing that, and a simulator. Who's doing this? Like, there's not that much. The only thing that I could think of was something, there's a great Expedition episode about this, if you watch those about Expedition theme park stuff, about the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas. And the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas had that same sort of like get out of a thing, out of a pre-show, and they run you into a room, and then there's a simulator. So Star Trek kind of had a grandfather-ish version of what Rise is, but Disney took even maybe a little bit of that idea of like immersion and like put it all on its head. I've never experienced a ride like it. It changes what we do for the next decade for sure in parks, and I think that's really important. So I'm going to go with Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick. It sets the tone for what's to come, and I think you're right though. I think when something just that different comes along, you're okay to say, okay, that's different and special, and we recognize it as such. I mean, I don't, the sports analogy, I don't like when people do that with sports. When we see a great athlete come along, it's okay to recognize that that's an amazing athlete in the beginning of their career. You don't have to wait for a career long of decade long of performance. You just know, you can see it, it's different.
And not to mention, you don't get Rise of the Resistance without a decade's worth of work. Right, like there is a decade's work of whether they're working on it or not, an evolution process of technology and showmanship that gets you to the point where you can do that.
It's still evolving.
Yes, absolutely.
The technology's still evolving. It's not there yet to operate reliably.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good point. We're still working out bugs. I mean, it probably shouldn't necessarily have opened in that decade, but at the same time, it certainly did, and I think it is sort of one of those moments, a high watermark of Imagineering, and also sort of a decade's, sort of a way of saying, look what we did in a decade, and all the stuff we put together to do that. So yeah, that's mine.
All right. Anybody else got anything on that? No? Spencer, you're up next.
Oh, we're going to me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to you.
So,
Before we lose you again.
Yes, Japanese internet is either really great or terrible, and nowhere in between. Anyway, so I chose D23 Expo 2017. I really feel like with all the expos, of course, we get these big announcements. We find out what's going on. My hands are too big there. And you get this roadmap for what's going on in the parks for the next few years. And at 2017's Expo, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to figure out is defining the decade in Imagineering. We found out a lot about Galaxy's Edge. We knew it was coming, but we found out a lot more about it at 2017. We found out about Runaway Railway. That's when we lost the Great Movie Ride. Obviously, Runaway Railway is this decade, but that's something that's defined the past couple of years, is talking about the Great Movie Ride, losing the Great Movie Ride, and talking about Runaway Railway.
Yeah.
We found out a lot more about Toy Story Land, of course, which is going to be another, like, it's a watermark on a different end. It's the low end with Pixar Pier on Imagineering of the decade. You've got these two ends where you've got Pandora and Galaxy's Edge that are going to define creativity for the 2010s, and then you've got the other end where you got Pixar Pier and Toy Story Land, and we found out a lot about that as well. We found out that we were going to get Cosmic Rewind, and it was going to get rid of Ellen. That's when we lost that too. We found out we were getting Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, or whatever that ride is called. I was forgetting.
A lot of the epcot
I know.
stuff.
It's called a rat race.
Yeah. We found out about Space 220. We found out about Tron coming to Disney World. We found out about Riviera. We found out about the Star Wars Hotel, and we found out about the Skyliner. All these things that are going to define what we think about when we think about this decade in Imagineering.
Huh. I agree with. I mean, I think that's an interesting
Spencer,
take.
If your defining moment then is the D23 Expo 2017, then my defining moment would have to be the week before D23 Expo at WDWNT.com, where I learned about all those things that you just talked about.
No, I was reading about that stuff too, and but if we're talking about defining moments, you got to talk about it the official way, and not.
We weren't the top 7 isn't Jason. The top 7 isn't the top 7 times we made a ton of money. As a website.
It's not the top 7 times WDWNT was right, because we could fight about that all day.
So
but
we at least have 7
7
times.
times. We
7
broke
times.
all-time traffic records. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be fun to actually go over.
Fair enough.
I know what number 1 is.
You know what
We all
number
know what number
one
one is.
is?
Yeah, the Skyliner.
Yeah,
That
Skyliner.
was our most
The
popular.
Disney
Skyliner.
Skyliner incident.
Oh, okay.
But number 2 is when we announced that Target was coming to Flamingo Crossing.
Really? It
No.
wasn't the Country Bears
it's-
thing?
No, the Target was really high up on the list.
People like Target.
Target is great.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you get
Target
the
is
the
great, but it's
Target
not that
fans
great.
and the Disney fans, so.
Yeah.
and the
Target's
Flamingo
great, it's not
fans.
that great,
And the
but-
Flamingo.
All right, let's
Yeah.
move on.
So,
Valid.
Let's
I
move
mean,
on.
I don't know. I follow a lot of like white 30-something women on Instagram, and Target is everything.
The term is basics. You're looking for the term. It's
Yeah.
basics.
We love our Target.
Keep us moving. Actually, we're
Fair
doing
enough.
well on time, but let's keep moving.
Matthew, what you got for us?
Okay, so these have all been great, and they have definitely elevated what we've experienced so far. But mine is a project that literally saved the soul of a park, and that was 2012 with the opening of Buena Vista Street at Disney California Adventure. I've been to California Adventure 3 times, 2008, 2013, and 2015, and the difference between those first 2 times is night and day. Buena Vista Street gave the park cohesion. It gave it a soul, and it really tied the theme of California all together, where the original entrance just didn't have that. It was a picture postcard.
Like
It
a
was
good
pretty,
rug.
It was nicer than your average amusement park, but it wasn't Disney. It wasn't that level of quality we expect. This was a major
That's a good
turnaround,
pick.
and I think gave the park its soul back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
here's
a
the
good pick.
question,
Very
though.
good
Here's the
points.
question, and we'll probably get more in this later. Do we want California Adventure? Like, what if it had gone away? Would that have been okay? Like, what if they had closed it
Wow.
and then something else
I
totally
think
different?
There's a difference between
Did it
There's a
save?
difference between California. There's a difference between California Adventure, which you can salvage, and Walt Disney Studios Paris, which
That's
is just
true.
too far gone.
Yeah, you got to take that back to the woodshed. So,
Yeah, the first time I visited, it was all under construction, so I never got to experience the previous incarnation. But that is one of my
Lucky you.
absolute favorite parks, just because of Cars Land too. It's hard to talk about Buena Vista
Yeah.
Street
Yeah.
without Cars Land.
talk
and-
about why the park matters now. It's
Yeah.
Cars Land for sure.
Yeah, and that whole area. I mean, I love Buena Vista Street, and I love just walking around there and just taking in the atmosphere. Same with Cars Land. It's one of my favorite.
Not to mention, it gave the park a signature architectural
Yep.
monument in the Carthay Circle restaurant.
Oh.
Gave it the signature restaurant it needed.
my
Like
favorite.
every park needs its Blue Bayou.
Yep. Yeah, I really do love that park, and I doubt I would have loved the previous incarnation, right?
No, you probably.
Well, I
wouldn't.
mean,
Yeah.
Superstar
It was
Limo.
And then of course
not
now,
great.
we're getting in Avengers Land haphazardly crushed into a park about California.
But Avengers.
I did think about this. I did think about the transformation of California Adventure and how it quickly just they completely flipped the script and said, "Nope, we need more characters.
Right.
We got Pixar Pier. We're getting Avengers Campus. Mission Breakout coming in."
Right.
But for that one brief shining moment, California Adventure felt like the park it always needed to be.
Yeah. One could even debate that Cars Land still fits into that California Adventure mold.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. And
It
that's like
does,
one
I
of the
think.
few
I think
times
California-
an IP really helps serve the story.
Yeah.
And I think it was
Yeah.
a blessing for the park.
And the fact that Rafferty had been working on a Cars Land without the IP before it even occurred. So,
Yeah.
like, it's a natural occurrence more than anything else. Yeah.
I went
So.
to Disneyland once.
And if you want to hear more about that,
And it was the year Disney in California opened. So I've only experienced the original incarnation. So we just rode all these rides that don't exist anymore. But I specifically remember it was Superstar Limo. We wandered into this part of the park and we were like, is it not open? Because there were no people. And we like went up. They were so excited to see us. They're like, yes, our ride, come ride our ride.
Wow.
We rode Soarin' like 5 times. Like the only thing with a line was the Grizzly ride. Like that was it.
Yeah.
We rode like every ride.
Even like California Screamin' didn't have a line.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that might have had a line, but I don't like roller coasters, so I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo.
But yeah, so I've only ever seen that postcard version.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Buena Vista Street really gave the park its mission statement and
Yeah.
really gives it that feeling of California.
Gosh, that's good. That's a really good one.
It
It
is.
is a good one.
Jason, what do you got for us?
Well, just as Matthew talked about Carthay Circle restaurant being the signature restaurant, my pick was the opening of Jungle Cruise Skipper Canteen.
I mean, bless, for sure.
No, it wasn't.
I love it. If it was, I'd be for
I
it.
do love Skipper Canteen. I do love Skipper Canteen. But anyway, no, my pick was the opening of Pandora, the World of Avatar. I don't know that any land opening was ever more anticipated than this one. You look at New Fantasyland. People were excited about New Fantasyland, but I don't think it was as transformational to the Magic Kingdom as the opening of Pandora was transformational to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
This
Are
really
we
put Animal
bypassing
Kingdom
Galaxy's
on the
Edge
map.
here?
Yeah, we are, because I don't think Galaxy's Edge, I mean, people were excited about Galaxy's Edge, but again, Galaxy's Edge was not transformational to Hollywood Studios simply because of how much they took away to get it there,
Yeah.
right? Pandora was all additions. It was all new. They took away Camp Minnie Mickey, but there was no attractions there, and the Festival of Lion King had moved, so they didn't really take anything away to put Pandora in.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios could have survived on its own without Galaxy's Edge, just keeping what was already in its place, which was the Backlot Tour and Lights, Motors, Action. I mean, those things weren't necessarily great, but they would have been fine to support the park.
Would you say,
Pandora was a brand new land.
did it make it
and
a day
was,
park? Do you believe it made?
Animal Kingdom?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was not until the opening of Pandora that Animal Kingdom was regularly open past 5 or 6 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
So now there's a nighttime show, and the parks are regularly open till 8 or 9 at night. It is so. I think Disney tacitly admitted that Pandora made Animal Kingdom a full day park because they extended the operating hours.
Yeah. Wasn't
And
it?
all these
Exactly.
things were then able to follow.
Without Pandora, you don't get Rivers of Light. You don't get Tree of Life awakenings. And I
Yeah.
think those have
Right.
really come
Pandora
to redefine the park.
Pandora was the prerequisite to keep people in that park long enough to do those nighttime shows.
Right.
Which
is now,
as much
for-
as I don't like Rivers of Light, it was still.
Yeah, and for my money, it's
I was
the
about to say,
prettiest
are we-
park at night. So.
Are we
Oh,
really
it
going to
absolutely
praise
is.
Rivers
I
of
made a-
Light, though?
No, we're not. I made a point every trip that I possibly could to do Animal Kingdom evening extra magic hours because it is an amazing park at night that no one ever got to see.
Yeah.
Now everyone gets to see it thanks to Pandora. I think it's great. But yeah, no, you're right. It's an amazing park at night. Pandora is an amazing land, whether it's day or night.
Yeah.
I would argue that the artistry and the Imagineering that went into the development of Pandora is better than Galaxy's Edge. I think Pandora was much more of a monumental step in theme park design
Sure.
than Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is cool to look at, and there's some neat stuff like the Millennium Falcon is kind of cool to be in the middle of the land, but Pandora is a fictitious land that was completely and fully developed as a theme park land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From the-
I mean, I
from the
always thought
beginning,
Pandora had
yes.
the advantage because it's more alien land than anything
Yeah,
Star Wars
absolutely.
is. All the Star Wars landscapes are
Absolutely.
very human, Earth-like.
Well, yeah, and what I would say though is the thing about Pandora. Maybe it's the same kind of fact here, but like maybe the difference is like because it has to be that sort of jungle area, to have nothing really, and to create a whole like plant, even fake plant ecosystem, just takes a lot more design than some sand and some rock and some petrified wood. As much as I think that for my money, like Black Spire matches what it should. Like it you know. So.
And I would say they did a better job because you said it was more anticipated. I think it was. I think it was better marketed, and I think it was better executed too.
Yeah.
Like they followed through on more of the things that they promised.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Pandora was everything that it was made out to be. It was everything that it was designed to be. It was everything that it was marketed to be.
Yeah.
And Galaxy's Edge clearly was not. I
Well,
mean, there's still no free roaming droids that people were promised, and among other things. But
and Pandora had to work. I think that's why we didn't lose anything. Pandora, Avatar is not something that I think about a lot, right? Star Wars, people were going to come no matter what. And I think that you can see that decision making in the budgeting. Like, Pandora was like literally a make or break for an entire park in many ways. And so, like, you can see that.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
No, the execution was much better.
Yeah.
We should put Joe Rody in charge of everything.
We should.
Agreed.
put him in charge of the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, no, we don't need to put Joe Roddy in charge of everything. We just need to put people like Joe Roddy in charge of things.
Yeah.
And give them the money to do it.
All right, so the seventh thing going on our list from me is My Disney Experience.
Oh.
Oh God.
Wow.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
But
know,
is it the best moment or the most defining moment?
I think it's one of the most important moments, and I think it definitely changes the way we do theme parks.
Are you including magic bands in
I
this?
am, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, you can't really have
Oh,
one
yeah,
without
that's
the
part
other.
of it.
So the whole idea of
That's
schedule,
great.
you know, pre-scheduling your fast passes, just the way we schedule our days, the way we interact with the park, the way we you know, think about going to a theme park, it all kind of changed here in Orlando because of My Disney Experience. Now, yeah, okay, bugs in the system, sure. You know, some people are frustrated by it, but I mean, it is the way that they have us interact with the theme parks now. For better or for worse. I mean, it did a lot of good things where we don't have to run through the gate for fast passes anymore. But yeah, there are some pluses and minuses. But you know, it really defined the way we're going to theme parks now. So I think it has to be on the list.
Yeah. And it
sure.
opened up that opened up a lot of other things like PhotoPass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. The whole you know, like you said, not running around for fast passes and things like that. I think it, and for all its bugs, it's a pretty revolutionary system in terms of what it can do, and it more than anything else, I think it enabled Disney to be able to spread out crowds effectively.
I think that's a very important factor. It changes the way we're doing theme parks, but it changes the way Disney's operating their theme parks. They're using that data to theoretically give us a more smooth experience. You know.
Well, I mean, it's in their best interest to give us a better experience.
Yeah.
It's in their best interest to make more money too,
Well,
which
yeah.
kind of was the advent of Fast Pass. But in the long run, I think it does. I think it gives us a better experience.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Yeah, that's really good. I wouldn't have thought about that. But I like distinctly remember a time when it went from my dad planned our Disney trips to I planned our Disney trips.
Yeah.
Because you could do everything online and you could do it all in the app.
Yeah.
And so I booked all the fast passes, and I made all our dinner reservations, and I made our hotel reservations because I didn't have to talk to anybody on a phone. And he had like a little piece of paper that he had written the fast passes down on because that's what he was used to.
Yeah.
Now it's fine; they can do everything, you know, on the computer and on their phones now. But it changed how we booked Disney trips.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I'm going through that right now. I mean, I'm planning my trip to Orlando in May, and my Disney experience. I obviously I live in Tokyo, so everything is really locally focused. We just had paper fast passes until like July, so having to go back to my Disney experience for the first time in a few years, and really going back to like, okay, what am I doing 6 months from now? 3 months from now, you know, when am I booking my fast passes? it really fundamentally changes how you think about a Disney vacation, and for better or worse, it seems to work mostly.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting going backwards. I mean, I remember, was really used to my Disney experience, and I made a trip to California, and I had to, I had changed the way I did things. I had to go find fast passes to Radiator Springs, and then go off and do something else, And so it's interesting to go. It's always interesting to go backwards in technology, and in that case, you kind of had to. Now you have the Max or whatever Disney, what do they call it, Max Plus?
Oh God, don't talk to me about how our fast passes work. It's not even Max Pass. They literally gave the system to everyone and said, "Here, all of you can have this," and it totally messes with fast pass distribution. It sucks.
They'll figure it out. So what we got?
All right, it's time to order.
Matt wants to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I mean, everyone's been talking for better or worse, and then they talk for the better. I want to speak to the worse. I think it's definitely the most one of the most defining moments of the decade, but I don't necessarily think it's one of the best. I think that it has created a lot more headaches that I didn't have in the bad old days. I believe it or not, I prefer getting up first thing in the morning and running to get my fast passes. I don't like the tiered system, especially when you're in parks where you really only need 2 or 3 fast passes for the whole day and you can't get them. I think it I think it doesn't reward dedication the way it used to. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that levels the playing field for the general public, but for those of us who are willing to get up and be there at rope drop to try and make the most of our day, it feels like now there's no point to it. Now I have to do it, 3 months in advance, and it's a headache, to be honest with you. I can't even. By the time I get to my vacation, I'm tired of my vacation. Yes, I believe that digital technology has definitely changed the way we look at the parks, but I don't necessarily mark it up there as one of the best moments.
That's kind of true. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
As a planner, I love it.
Yeah. Me too. We need to start ranking, though.
The difference is you just have to get up at 7 a.m. 6 months in advance to book things as opposed to the day of.
That's true. But I can do that in my pajamas. Can't run for Fast Pass in my pajamas. Though some try.
All right, let's rank these. So we have the 7 are the acquisition of Lucasfilm, the debut of Paint the Night Parade, the debut of Rise of the Resistance attraction, the D23 Expo in 2017, the debut of Buena Vista Street, California Adventure, the opening of Pandora, the World of Avatar, and the debut of My Disney Experience. Number 7 on the list. What do you guys think?
Paint the Night.
Yeah.
I like Paint the Night. I just feel like when it comes to like how much of a change it made, like it made a change to parades, but it's not. It doesn't encompass as much or as wide as some of the other ones.
I mean, it was a groundbreaking parade. I love it. It's my favorite nighttime parade.
Well, this is where I think we need clarity. Are we doing best or most defining?
I have down here.
Most defining, isn't that what it?
Top.
It's the top.
That implies best.
Awesomeness.
When you pitched it to me, you said most defining. I should have done something different then.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how you do it, I mean, I would argue that the D23 Expo should be at the bottom because although it was a very important moment, we didn't get anything. Like all the things we got were later.
That's true.
So
that'd be my vote for 7.
That's true. It's very impactful. It's very impactful, but it's also.
All right.
I'd put Paint the Night as 7, and I'd put D23 as 6.
All right.
I'm okay with either way.
Show of hands. D23 at 7.
I'm gonna do that for 7 instead.
I'd put it at 7.
All right. D23 is at 7.
Simply because it is the
So.
telling of stuff more than the doing.
So we going with Paint the Night at number 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'd put my Disney experience at number 6, but
No way.
Get out of here, Matthew. All right. Acquisition of
I might put my
Lucasfilm,
Disney
Rise of the
Experience.
Resistance, Buena Vista Street, Pandora, My Disney Experience.
Lucasfilm
I
at
could
5.
go with my Disney experience at number 5.
Yeah.
But I could go with Lucasfilm at 5 too, yeah.
The acquisition of Lucasfilm didn't directly affect the parks either. I mean,
yeah, I mean, Disney
Yeah, I mean,
already
that's-
had a theme park.
It did.
Right.
we had
so
Star
what they
Tours.
could have
No,
done-
because we had Star Tours already. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
but we
one of
didn't have
those
a full
things where
land.
You're not
Well, but
getting.
there's,
You're
They
but
were
there's
not-
nothing
But they
saying
could
that
have.
we
That's
couldn't
the
have
thing,
gotten
they
a full
could
land.
have.
Well, let me put it like
They
this.
could have still gotten a full land without buying Lucasfilm.
Yeah, but let me put it like this. Disney gets to make
Just like they could have
decisions.
still gotten-
Like they can make decisions about what goes in movies based on what they want to put in lands. Whereas when
Yeah,
it's
but
when
do you
it's
think
a
this-
partnership,
Do you really think they make good decisions?
no, I'm just saying they get to
That's
make
not
them.
the point.
Oh, baby
Wait,
J
this
Factor.
is
Oh, baby
He's
J
going to
Factor.
sleep.
We're not actually getting
didn't like the
something. We're just
acquisition.
being shown this possibility by acquiring Lucasfilm.
I guess I think acquiring Lucasfilm changed.
It changed what they could do.
It changed what they could do. It got, parks wise, it changed. We got,
gave them more
Galaxy's
incentive.
Edge. It gave them, power. And then I think of it, it changed everything. It changed the landscape of films. It changed television. It changed.
Certainly
But this
impact
is about
on the
Disney parks.
company.
I guess I gave them the freedom.
Don't
I-
eat that, baby
impact on
JPEG.
the Disney company is
We're
I
past
would
the
say
failure
significant, more so than impact on the parks.
Here's what I would say though. I would say that worldwide, Star Wars has more of an impact on the parks than say the My Disney Experience app, because the My Disney Experience app
Oh, well.
is sort of here.
It's just
There's
here.
That
variations,
is
but
true.
Yeah.
but Star Wars, I would go MDE and then I would go Star Wars for 4. But that's just me.
Yeah, worldwide, yeah, I agree on that one.
Because that's tough though, because then if we're talking worldwide, where does Pandora fall in line?
All right, so I think we know it's pretty much between Lucasfilm and My Disney Experience, right? All right,
Yeah,
who's
4
saying
and
My
5.
Disney Experience at 5?
I don't want either of them to be a 5.
What do you want at 5?
I don't know, but if it was just me, I would put my Disney Experience.
I vote
number 1.
Lucasfilm at 5.
Yeah, right.
I would put
Lucasfilm at
Lucasfilm
5?
Yeah.
Lucasfilm at 5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I'll say that too. I'll go with Lucasfilm at 5. All right, number 4, Rise, Buena Vista, Pandora, My Disney Experience.
My Disney.
My Disney.
Experience.
My Disney Experience, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And then
good with
Pandora
that.
for 3.
All right, My Disney Experience goes down at 4. 3, Pandora, Buena Vista Street, or
3.
Rise.
No, I think 3 should be Rise.
Heck no.
I would
But then
put
again-
Here's the thing,
3 as either
Pandora is
Rise
up
or
there.
Buena
Like,
Vista
I
Street.
think it's
This is really hard because you have 3
Yes.
great candidates.
I would
Here's the thing,
actually. So the
Pandora
only reason
is-
I would put. The only reason I would put Buena Vista Street at 3, and not any higher, is simply because. Is that what we're doing? We're doing number 3 now, right?
Yes.
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 I would put Buena Vista Street at number 3 simply because I think Cars Land was more transformational than Buena Vista Street to the impact on the park.
Agreed.
Like from a overall like theme park perspective, Buena Vista Street was a sort of a crowning achievement of
Right.
the transformation. But I think Cars Lane is what really kicked that transformation off.
And I'd put Buena
Um,
Vista,
But Buena Vista Street tied the whole thing together.
but
Yeah,
I'd
but
put
no one,
Buena Vista.
no one goes to California
But
Adventure
that
from
was
Buena
the
Vista
end,
Street.
right? But that was the
Right.
end of that process, not the beginning
Yeah.
of it.
I'd put Buena
Cars
Vista
Lane
Street
was
at
kind of
3.
The beginning of the process.
If you had put Cars Land up there, then this would be harder. But
It
I think
would
Buena
be,
Vista-
I'm
yeah.
sort of shocked no one said it, to be
But I
honest.
mean, Rise and Pandora
I
have an
too.
effect on other projects and other parks, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is that Rise in Pandora, we haven't yet seen the effect of those on other
Yeah.
parks around the world.
We good
They're
with
too
Buena
new.
Vista at 3? Any huge objections?
Yeah.
I know, Matthew, but. All right. Rise or Pandora?
I'm going to say
Rise.
Rise because Pandora Pandora makes it possible for Rise in many ways. I think
That's true.
I
So
think
you're
that
saying
you-
Rise at 2, Pandora 1.
Yeah, and also because Rise was December. Like as much as I want to think it is impactful and it does say a lot about the past decade, it's also going to sort of tell us about the next decade more. We might end up talking about in 10 years, if God forbid, are we still going to be here in 10 years? We'll find out. So
No,
anyway,
we'll be over there against that
yeah, we'll be
wall.
at a different wall. But I think in 10 years we might go, oh, well, the best thing that happened in the decade was when Rise opened at Disneyland because then we have all these other reasons, you know. So we'll see. But
I vote Rise 2, Pandora 1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
We're good with that? All
I'm
right.
happy with that because that means I win.
Yay, Jason
10
wins.
core bucks, right?
All right. So our
1,000
top,
core bucks to you, Jason Diffendahl.
so our top 7 Disney Parks moments of the last decade are the D23 Expo in 2017, the Paint the Night Parade, the acquisition of Lucasfilm, My Disney Experience, Buena Vista Street at number 3, number 2, Rise of the Resistance, number 1, Pandora, the World of Avatar.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks
Do I
to
get consolation core bucks?
Sure, you get 10,000 core bucks.
you get your pick off of anything on this desk. Ship it out to you.